This is H Psychology, AQA Psychology. This is a research methods question, so it comes into paper 1, 2 and 3. In this, and it's dealing with content analysis and reliability in this particular case, but it is part of an attachment question. So that's why it was included in paper 1 for attachments, but it is actually a research one. So we have a look at the specific question. Okay, so it was in attachments, it was from a sample exam paper from AQA, and it goes like this. 2 researchers wanted to investigate the influence of early attachment on later relationships. They asked 20 teenagers between 14 to 16 to write an essay on the importance of family and friends. 10 of them had been raised by their mother and father, the other 10 had spent their first 5 years in care and then they were adopted. The researchers used content analysis to analyse the teenagers' essays. The researchers devised a set of categories to do this, 2 of which were references to love and references to fear of rejection. Okay, so this specific question is, explain one way in which researchers may have checked whether their categories were reliable. So although we have this in the attachment topic, it is a research methods question, and they are leading you down the path of content analysis, but actually really specifically they're asking you a question about reliability. So be careful with that, make sure you interpret the question carefully. So here it's explain one way in which researchers can check reliability. So don't be led down, this path. We're talking about content analysis. However, having said that, content analysis is a type of observation. Here the question is on the method used to check the reliability of that content analysis. And we need to know about inter-rater reliability. And remember, for inter-rater reliability, there's quite a lot of information that you could include, but we're only going to refer to enough to cover 3 marks. And again, we're trying to link it to the STEM. It's important that we do that. So just to outline what we mean by it, and then you can choose which bits to include. Okay. So for inter-rater reliability in any observation, so not just content analysis, we need to make sure we have more than one observer. We need to operationalize the behaviors we're looking at, the specific behaviors. We would use predetermined tick lists or tally charts, which are standardized, okay, so we can quantify those particular behaviors. We specifically would do something to train our observers so that we are standardizing our procedures and what we're classifying as particular behaviors. So maybe pilot it. And then we would need to correlate the scores from those different researchers. And the correlation should be, so we use a correlation coefficient, stats test, and the correlation should be 0.8 and above for us to consider it having good inter-observer reliability. So if reliability is good, what that means is that our observations are consistent. So how do we go about getting our 3 marks for this? Let's have a look at what they've got in the mark scheme. So we're going to get credit for literally naming inter-rater, or in this case inter-rater observations, inter-rater reliability. So literally naming that will get you credit. Okay, so it shows how important it is that you are using correct terminology. And then we need to link it to this particular study and use a little bit more terminology to get our other 2 marks. So for example, using some of this information here, but bearing in mind the STEM. Okay, so consistency between the recordings of the 2 researchers would be assessed by asking each of them to categorize the essays independently, for example, with their references to love and their references to fear of rejection. So categorizing using tally charts, the number of times the references come up, but categorizing what they mean by references to love, references to rejection. And then we would compare them, in other words, correlate their scores, and they should be 0.8 and above for your 3 marks.